My name is Liz Wessel. I am the mission leader for home and community care in Southern California. I am presently in Anaheim, California, and my relationship to Robin is we are colleagues and friends.
My name is Robin Slemenda, and I am sitting in Mount Angel, Oregon.
I was thinking it actually has brought us together as friends through our opportunities to connect. Even though we've never met in person, I have just felt a connection with you, kind of a heart connection.
It has been a pleasure to get to know you. And it's interesting to me that even through this virtual technology, we can still feel that kind of feeling through all of the Ethernet and whatever. That gives me kind of a hope for this virtual world.
Today, I just wanted to open this up to asking you to share a little bit about your journey.
My work journey, my vocation. I've been looking at that word, vocation, a lot. Really do understand that vocation is calling. You know, I was raised in a tiny town of 500, about an hour south of San Francisco, and about 8 miles from the coast. Grew up in the Redwoods, and I had a large merged family. That family, really the core, was my mother, who was a 5'1" tower of strength. I recognize that my upbringing and her very core was all about service. She brought two families, really three families together, and raised us all in this big house in the Redwoods, and really became a bit of a matriarch for the town. She took in single mothers and sometimes their children to give the mothers a chance to get their lives back together. We'd never had contact really with the medical world, but there was one party that I was at that somebody turned to me, and she was an emergency room nurse, and she said, I was probably 15, and she said to me, "You would be a great nurse." And I had no concept of what nursing was, but that seed was planted. It was several years later that path started unfolding for me of nursing. It was a very natural, intuitive process. I've been in home health since 1989.
Mm-hmm.
I've done everything from acute care nursing to management and evaluation nursing. And then somebody saw something in me that said, I think she would be a really good mental health nurse in home health. They created a new program and asked me to be a part of that.
So when you went into home health, you did that for a while, and then you actually went into behavioral health.
Within that first agency, they hired a new manager who had very strong psychiatric mental health background. She proposed creating a mental health team because there was such a need in the community. It was one of those situations where I was stopped in the hall and somebody said she would be really good on that team. And I was like, I've had no experience, you know. I did very little rotation in the psych unit. And so I met with her, and it was just on the heels of me taking a 3-week break. When I returned, there actually had been some changes within the organization, and they said, well, Robin, you can be on this team, or there's the door, basically. And I loved home health so much that I met again with this manager and decided to stay and be on that team. And it did pull on some gifts that I didn't even know I really had. And I can say that in all of my years of home health nursing, that entering that sacred space where there's that much raw, sometimes disclosure, and having that trust with another individual, that was for me ultimate gift, really.
Yeah, what comes to mind for me when you talk about this, the vulnerability. I heard you say raw, and people just maybe at their rock bottom sometimes, and maybe their lives are just in a real state of chaos. My first nursing job was in oncology at St. Joe's Hospital, and
Mm.
those patients that I accompanied and tried to help. They were experiencing very serious illness, and it seemed like the extraneous things that we get so caught up in all fall away when you're thinking
Yeah.
about life and death. It was kind of what you're talking about, so real, so meaningful to be in relationships with people who really knew what really matters.